Thea Eva Corda. Hello friends, I'm Leisha Moore, Ireland's Consul General to New England, and I'm absolutely delighted to be welcoming you to the Best of All Things Irish in Maine 2021. The Irish Consulate is delighted to support the Maine Irish Heritage Centre through the Irish Government's Emigrant Support Programme. The Centre is doing wonderful work to support Irish arts and cultures throughout Maine through programming like book talks, the virtual St. Patrick's Day Parade, and not least this programme which highlights the wonderful depth and breadth of Irish talent in Maine. This is an incredible showcase of Maine's deep Irish roots, and it features talented performers and artists from every corner of the great state of Maine. So I hope you enjoy.
Picture this. Imagine the feelings as you walk away from the only home you have known. It's the mid-1800s in Ireland. In a busy harbor, you and hundreds of others step aboard a crowded, tall sailing ship, bound for a place called America. You're carrying a small bag of belongings, some food and water, holding a baby, while the small hand of another child is clutching your coat, unknowing what lies ahead, but trusting, hoping that the 12-week journey across the Atlantic will take you safely to a new home, a better life, where there will be work, food, shelter, and a future. This was a common scenario for the Irish facing religious and political turmoil and a deadly potato famine. Sailing ships and steamboats brought hundreds of thousands of Irish immigrants to unfamiliar harbors, from Quebec to Boston. What kept the Irish moving? Promises of work, places to live. Still, there were no guarantees. At the beginning of the 19th century, Lewiston, Maine was still a sparsely populated frontier community. In 1850, Lewiston was the most Irish of any town in Maine. Irishmen represented nearly 75% of all the unskilled laborers in town. Textile and rail tycoons depended on Irish workers to build the Grand Trunk Railroad and dig miles of canals to channel waters from the Androscoggin River and Lewiston Falls into the sprawling Bates textile mills and other emerging industries. Water power transformed what once was a small farming town into an industrial giant. Historian Margaret J. Bucher wrote this: "The Irish experience in Lewiston represented no rags to riches phenomenon. Progress was often slow, and often slowest for those who had farthest to go. The majority of Irishmen who came to Lewiston in the 1850s and 1860s were poor, illiterate, and burdened by heavy family responsibilities. They adjusted to their condition as best they could, accepting the types of employment which were available, making small advances when the opportunities arose. Some were more fortunate than others and were able to achieve. By the 1920s, Lewiston had become much more of a French-Canadian town. The Irish and French had differences, but they lived and worked together and continued to build their community. Irish were changing agents. Their religious and fraternal organizations helped to tie the Irish community together. They became firemen, policemen, labor organizers. They took active roles in local and state politics. And today, the children and grandchildren of early immigrants are community leaders, and today continue to make a difference in one of Maine's largest cities. Cultural diversity arrived with Irish immigrants when they came to Lewiston 170 years ago. Doors remained open for others seeking a better life, most recently refugees from Kenya, Somalia, and Angola. They've brought their histories, their cultures, to the cities of the Androscoggin, and the community is richer because they arrived and settled. And it all began when the Irish came to Lewiston.
Kelly, Ireland, 1860, my dear and loving son John. Your good friend the schoolmaster at McNamara, so good as to write these words down. Your brothers have all gone to find work in England. The house is so empty and sad. The crop of potatoes is sorely infected, a third to a half of them gone. And your sister Bridget and Patrick O'Donnell are going to be married in June. Your mother says not to work on the railroad, be sure to come on home soon. Kilkelly, Ireland, 1870, my dear and loving son John. Hello to your missus and to your 4 children, may they grow healthy and strong. Michael has got in a wee bit of trouble, I suppose he never will learn. Because of the dampness, there's no turf to speak of, and now we've nothing to burn. And Bridget is happy, you named a child for her, although she's 6 of her own. You say you found work, you don't say what kind or when you will be coming home. Kilkelly, Ireland, 1880, to Michael and John, my sons. I'm sorry to give you the very sad news that your dear old mother passed on. We buried her down at the church in Kilkelly. Your brothers and Bridget were there. You don't have to worry, she died very quickly. Remember her in your prayers. And it's so good to hear Michael's returning with money he's sure to buy land. The crop has been poor, the people are selling at any price that they can. Kilkelly, Ireland, 1890, my dear and loving son John. I suppose I must be close on to 80. It's 30 years since you've gone. Because of the money that you sent me, I'm still living out on my own. Michael has built himself a fine house, and Bridget's daughters have grown. Thank you for sending your family picture. They're lovely young women and men. You say that you might even come for a visit. What joy to see you again. Kilkelly, Ireland, 1892, my dear brother John. I'm sorry that I didn't write sooner to tell you that Father passed on. He was living with Bridget, she said he was cheerful and healthy right down to the end. I should have seen him play with the grandchildren at Pat McNamara, your friend. We buried him alongside a mother down at the Kilkenny churchyard. He was a strong and a feisty old man, considering his life was so hard. It's funny the way he kept talking about you, calling for you at the end. Oh, why don't you think about coming to visit we'd love to see you again.
in my memory. I will
always see the time that I have loved so well, where our schools played ball by the gas yard wall, and we laughed through the smoke and the smell. Going home in the rain, running up the dark lane, past the jail and down behind the fountain. Those were happy days in so many, many ways, in the time that I loved so well. In the early morn, the shirt factory horn called women from Cregan, the moor and the bog, while the men on the dole played a mother's role, fed the children and then walked the dog. And when times got tough, there was just about enough, but they saw it through without complaining. For deep inside was a burning pride in the time that I loved so well. There was music there in the dairy air, like a language that we all could understand. I remember the day that I earned my first pay, when I played in a small pickup band. There I spent my youth, and to tell you the truth, I was sad to leave it all behind me, for I learned about life and I married my wife in the town that I love so well. But when I returned, how my eyes were burned to see how a town could be brought to its knees by the armored cars and the bombed out bars and the gas that hangs on to every breeze. Now the army's installed by that old gas yard wall, and the damn barbed wire gets higher and higher. With their tanks and their guns, oh my God, what have they done to the time that I love so well? Now the music's gone, but they carry on, for their spirit's been bruised broken. They will not forget, but their hearts are set on tomorrow at peace once again. For what's done is done, and what's won is won, and what's lost is lost and gone forever. I can only pray for a bright, brand new day in the time that I love so well.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Kate Snyder. I'm the mayor of the city of Portland, and I'm so pleased to be here with you today. I hope you're enjoying the afternoon so far. Thank you for including me. Recognition and celebration of the Irish community in the city of Portland is so important. From the earliest days through modern day, the contributions to our economy and our culture are significant. The Maine Irish Heritage Center at State and Danforth is a beautiful, iconic building, so important to our skyline. And I want to thank everybody for contributions and investment in preserving that historic structure and presence in the city of Portland. As an Irish citizen myself and a descendant of an Irish-born grandmother, I want to say thank you for all the work that you're doing to keep the culture alive in the city of Portland. And I hope anybody who hasn't had a chance to go visit the center will make time in their schedule to do so. So again, enjoy this afternoon. Thank you for including me, and thank you for all the work that you're doing.
It is a testament to the will and determination of Irish immigrants who settled in Maine. Not knowing if they would be welcomed, families unpacked their belongings, held tightly onto their memories, and began to build a new future. Brick by brick, they laid the foundation for a new Irish community.
You can imagine this building was a huge fixture in the neighborhood. There, Sunday mornings, I bet the streets were crowded. You can imagine the sea of people, walking through these doors.
It's a vessel to tell your story. Beyond everybody acknowledging that it's a spectacular architecture, which is uplifting to human nature, it is the vessel for the deep and rich history of the Irish community.
This was not just a place of worship, it was a place of celebration, it was a place for the community to come together, and so many of the neighborhood residents and people in Portland have experiences with this space.
The Irish finished building St. Dominic's Church in 1893, and for decades to come it was their anchor in a very vibrant community that they were helping to grow. In 1997, the Catholic Diocese of Maine closed St. Dominic's, and the likelihood that one of Portland's most historic and cherished landmarks would be demolished was real. Just in time, with typical will and determination, the Irish American Club of Maine and a group of passionate community members approached Portland city officials and council members, who then helped negotiate a way to buy the treasured church. Maine Irish Heritage Center was established and preservation projects began, brick by brick.
The steps now are code achievable, which means they can be used, which means this magnificent entrance can now be used for events.
What struck me was the size of this building. And it's clear, you can see it in South Portland. When you come over the bridge, it's a beacon.
Just driving by this building, you have to be interested in it with the details. I mean, there isn't a spot on this building that wasn't thought of in a particular way to mean something.
It's beautiful craftsmanship.
It's a critical part of that visual story of the development of Portland.
Several major projects are now needing serious attention, including exterior restoration of the bell tower, refurbishing the grand entry, and the irreplaceable rose window, also restoring 22 priceless stained glass windows.
Things like roofing, valleys, copper gutters, repointing of masonry, really trying to mitigate and prevent damage from happening inside, or damage that's going to be really expensive to fix if let go for a long period of time.
This is a big deal. It's not just hiring a small outfit to do a little bit of repair here and there. It really demands, in order to save this important structure, it demands a large project.
It's always a conversation, it's always a priority list. It tends to start at the top and kind of work your way down. Of course, the top here is 120 feet in the air, so it's a particularly challenging environment.
The time has come to ask our neighbors and the good citizens of Maine to lend support and help us ensure that one of the state's historic beacons is preserved and that a part of our past is not erased. After all, as author John Steinbeck wrote in Grapes of Wrath, how will we know it's us without our past?
The Irish experience here in Portland was so transformative to who we are as a city here today. And we're seeing, I think, through all of the amazing work that you all are doing, that the community is really coming together to talk about their experiences and how they, in turn, have shaped Portland.
I think I connect to the energy and the love of the organization as it relates to the community and to the preservation of this great structure.
Please make a donation to our restoration fund or become a sponsor of the Maine Irish Heritage Center. We thank you.
The Ballad of the Bohemian. The Bohemian was one of the worst shipwrecks ever on the coast of Maine. February 22nd, 1864. 42 people were killed, most of them Irish immigrants. 30 of the bodies were never claimed. 18 of them are buried in Forest City Cemetery in South Portland, and the other 12 are buried in Calvary Cemetery, also in South Portland. God bless them. The Bohemian is lost, she's looking for the shore, with a load of Irish immigrants, and it's 1864. It's 1864. She's got finery for the gentry and a fortune in her hold. She's got cabins for the rich folks, but the Irish are down below. The Irish are down below. Just an ocean away, my love Mary, an ocean away from our new home. With our hearts full of hope, we left Galway, just an ocean away, my love. The captain, he's confused, there's a strange mist on the sea, and he thinks he's 5 miles out, but he's really only 3. And they're heading for a rock, it's too late to change course now, and the bottoms are ripped to hell, and that good boat's going down. That good boat's going down. Just an ocean away, my love Mary, an ocean away from our new home, with our hearts full of hope, leaving Galway, an ocean away, my love. The bonfires light the beach, and they're searching for the lost. And the shipping company's men, they're tallying up the cost. They're tallying up the cost. And the lifeboat's coming in with the captain and the crew. The Bohemian's gone down, and the dead are 42. The dead, they're 42. Just 2 miles away, my love Mary. Just 2 miles away from our new home. There'll be no children's children who'll remember our names. Just 2 miles away, my love. Just 2 miles away, my love Mary. Just 2 miles away from our new home. There'll be no children's children to remember our names. Just 2 miles away, my love.
Can't imagine a more appropriate place to hear Evan Boland's beautiful poem, The Emigrant Irish, here in St. Dominic's. A testament to the suffering and aspirations of the immigrant Irish of Portland, Maine. The emigrant Irish. Like oil lamps, we put them out the back of our houses, of our minds. We had lights better then, newer then. And then a time came, this time, and now we need them. Their dread makeshift example. They would have thrived on our necessities. What they survived, we could not even live. But by their lights now, it's time to imagine how they stood there, what they stood with, that their possessions may become our power. Cardboard, iron, their hardships parceled in them. Patience, fortitude, long suffering in the bruise-colored dusk of the new world, and all the old songs. and nothing to lose.
On Raglan Road, on an autumn day, I saw him first and knew that his dark hair would weave a snare that I might someday rue. I saw the danger, yet I passed along the enchanted way, and I said, let grief be a fallen leaf at the dawning of the day. On Grafton Street in November we tripped lightly along the ledge of a deep ravine where can be seen the worth of passion's pledge. The Queen of Hearts still making tarts, and I not making hay. I love too much, and by such is happiness thrown away. I gave him gifts of the mind, I gave him the secret signs that are known to artists who have known true gods of sound and stone, and word and tint without stint. I gave him poems to say, with his own name there, and his own dark hair like clouds o'er the fields of May. Oh, on a quiet street where old ghosts meet, I see him walking now, away from me so hurriedly. My reason must allow that I have loved not as I should, a creature made of clay. When the angel woos the clay, she loses wings at the dawn of day. When the angel woos the clay, she loses wings at the dawn of day. At the dawning of the day.
Ready? Yes. 1, 2, 3. In the days I went a courting, I was never tired of resorting, from the alehouse or the playhouse or many's a house besides. I told me brother Seamus I'd be off and be right famous, and if ever I returned again I'd have roamed the whole wood wide. I was goodbye Mershon Durkin, I'm sick and tired of working, no more I'll dig the varieties and no longer I'll be full, for sure as my name is Connie I'll be off to California, and instead of digging varieties I'll be gigging lumps of gold. I've courted girls in Blarney, in Kentucky, in Killarney, in Passage or in Queenstown, that is a cove of Cork. Goodbye to all this pleasure, I'll go off and seek me leisure. And the next time that I hear from me, it'll be a letter from New York. Oh, it's goodbye, Merchant Durkin, I'm sick and tired of working. No more I'll think the varieties, and no longer I'll be full. As sure as your name is Connie, I'll be off to California. And instead of digging varieties, I'll be digging lots of gold. Oh, goodbye to the girls I've known, I'm going far across the foam, for to make me fortune in far America. There's gold and jewels aplenty for the poor and for the gentry, and if ever I return again, I never more will say, it's goodbye, Merchant Durkin, I'm sick and tired of working. No more I'll dig the varieties, and no longer I'll be full. For sure as my name is Connie, I'll be off to California. And instead of digging varieties, I'll be digging lots of gold. It's goodbye, Merchant Durkin, I'm sick and tired of working. No more I'll dig the varieties, and no longer I'll be full. For sure as my name is Connie, I'll be off to California. And instead of digging varieties, I'll be digging lots of gold.
St. Patrick's Day in Portland, Maine 2020. It was unlike any other. We were faced with the reality that a pandemic we quickly came to know as COVID-19 was at our doorstep, spreading in our communities, and forcing the great green doors of the Maine Irish Heritage Center to close. We were facing such uncertain times, but there was always hope, and knowing that St. Patrick's Day, the music, the stories, everything Irish would once again lift up our spirits. While the doors remained closed for several months, a new energy emerged at the Maine Irish Heritage Center. We found new ways to stay connected to our Irish community. We went virtual. We reinvented our programs for live streaming. November 22nd, 2020, we hosted a very special evening of live performances by Maine musicians, singers, dancers, actors, designers, and artists. The Best of All Things Irish in Maine 2020 was a great success and helped sustain us during unimagined times. We continue to grow new programs, including Book Talk and our art shows featuring Irish artists. The Irish American Club St. Patrick's Day Parade and the Claddagh Award celebration are back on the calendar. And those great welcoming green doors at the Maine Irish Heritage Center, well, they are open once again. Visitors are touring our historic building, researchers are back in our exceptional library, and genealogists are busy helping people from around the world track the footprints of their Irish ancestors. Come visit us and sample the soothing tonic of Maine's vibrant and diverse Irish American arts scene. We look forward to seeing you.
Hello, everyone. I hope you're enjoying our wonderful show today. My name is Mary Burke, and I'd like to tell you about an exciting new offering we have available at the center this year. In honor of our bicentennial, we've created a 2022 calendar that is a tribute to the Irish who came to Maine and suffered discrimination and financial hardship to make a new life in America. The calendar is full of vintage photographs that show the Irish immigrants who arrived in the late 19th century, early 20th century. It shows the Irish people at work and at play, in their religious and family celebrations, their education, military service and sacrifice, and their political life, and also many other significant contributions to the very fabric of life in Maine. The calendar is available today at the center, or you may order it at our online shop, maineirish.com, and as a special incentive, if you order today, you'll receive a $5 discount. It's a wonderful gift for you or anyone on your gift list. Now back to the show. Your contributions, small and large, are welcome. Thank you.
What more diversion can a man desire than to sit him down by an altar fire? Upon his knee I have pretty wench, and on the table the jug of punch. Tooraloo-la, tooraloo-lay, tooraloo-la, tooraloo-lay. Upon his knee I have pretty wench, and on the table the jug of punch. And when I'm drunk and me money's me own, them that don't like me can leave me alone. I tune me fiddle and I'll rise in me bow, and I'll be welcome where I go. Tooraloo-la, tooraloo-lay, tooraloo-la, tooraloo-lay. I tune me fiddle and I'll rise in me bow, and I'll be welcome where I go. Let the doctors come with all their arts, they'll make no impression upon me heart. Even a cripple forgets his hunch when he's snug outside of the jug of punch. Tooraloo-la, tooraloo-lay, tooraloo-la, tooraloo-lay. Even the cripple forgets his hunch when he's snug outside of the jug of punch. And when I'm dead and in me grave, no costly tombstone shall I crave. Just lay me down in me native peat, with a jug of punch at me head and feet. Tooraloo-la, tooraloo-lay, tooraloo-la, tooraloo-lay. Just lay me down in me native peat, with a jug of punch at me head and feet. Tooraloo-la, tooraloo-lay, tooraloo-la, tooraloo-lay. Just lay me down in me native peat, with a jug of punch at me head and feet.
Another one. Oh, look at that go. Here it comes. Oh, it's gonna make it. Here, come, look at it go.
A long time ago in Ireland, there used to be itinerant priests who would travel about the countryside offering the sacraments and saying Mass. Now there's a story about one such priest, Father Murphy, who was much loved by his parishioners. For years, Father Murphy made his rounds on the back of an old donkey, until finally one day the poor old beast gave up the ghost. And his grateful flock got together and raised enough money to buy Father Murphy a horse, and they sent him off to the stabler to pick up his gift. Father, wait till you see this horse. It's the perfect horse for you. He went into the stable and he came out leading a spirited white horse. Oh, that's a grand horse, said Father Murphy. Far too grand for me. Not at all, Father. Why don't you climb aboard and give him a try? So Father Murphy got on the horse's back. Giddy up, go, go. But the horse didn't budge. That's what I've been telling you, Father. This is a special horse. His previous owner was a religious man, so to get him to go, you have to say, God bless you. God bless you, said Father Murphy, and the horse started to walk. God bless you, and the horse broke into a trot. Delightful. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you, and the horse galloped right out of the paddock. Father, wait. If you want him to stop, you've got to say, Amen. But Father Murphy was already far down the road and didn't hear. And they were flying down that path, and the wind was whipping in Father Murphy's hair, and he had never felt so exhilarated since his ordination. But his exhilaration soon turned to dread when the horse crashed into a small wooded area and began galloping down the woodsy path, and the branches were whipping him in the face, and he tried to get the horse to stop. Whoa! Whoa! Slow down! Stop! But the horse only seemed to go faster. Now, Father Murphy felt a moment of relief when the horse burst out from the trees, and now they were galloping across a flat, grassy field. But his relief soon turned to terror when he saw that the field ended at the edge of a cliff with a 100-foot drop to the sea far below. Now, looking death in the face, he did the only thing you could do. Father Murphy prayed. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. And the horse stopped, bare inches from the edge of the cliff. From his seat atop the horse, the priest could hear the clatter of pebbles as they rolled down the cliff. He stroked the horse's neck. God bless you. Thank you.
Today I'll be playing a set of tunes from the stunning choir loft of the Maine Irish Heritage Center. I'll start off with the 18th century minuet, She's Sweetest, followed by the Bowden Chapel, a jig that I composed for my alma mater. And I'll be finishing up the set with a wonderful O'Carolan tune, Planks T. Drew. I hope you enjoy this set of tunes. Thank you.
volunteer with the Irish Heritage Center, and this is my soda bread. It took me 64 years to finally get it right, but the one thing that you have to remember when you do soda bread, when you get it into the pan, you take your finger, you put some little flour in the sign of a cross, you take your finger and you do the depth to 1.5 to 1/2 inch. And then as you do it, you say a little prayer. I use 1 or 2 10-inch cake pans, or the Irish way, the cast iron pans. You can mix it by hand. What I usually do is I use a bread mixer. That way I don't have to knead it and everything goes quickly. You make sure you spray the pans really well and flour them well, or else you'll have some problems taking the bread out. After they're done, you cook them at 350 and let them cool down on a rack. And after they're done, you can either cut them hot while they're warm, or you can freeze them up to 3 to 4 months. Here it is, my Irish soda bread. Not only is it loved by my family and friends, the ambassador from Ireland, when he visited, he came to me and said it was really good. The top 3 secrets is 1, the sour cream, the buttermilk, but it's also saying that little prayer, making the cross on the bread. I can't help it. I do that with my Italian cookies too. I say some Hail Marys while they're cooking. It's just a thing. And just do it with your heart. I think that's the ingredient.
I'm Lynn Carter. I just want to tell you why I love soda bread. My father's mother was born in, I believe, was definitely in Galway, but my great-great-grandparents got married in Lewiston, Varna. And my grandmother made Irish soda bread because she made traditional, in the sense of not gluten-free, Irish soda bread, and I always loved it.
Gluten-free Irish soda bread. This recipe started with a friend giving us a copy of the recipe. This recipe calls for folks to put together the dry ingredients first, of course. So here I have started that. So if you have baked it all with gluten-free recipes, you'll know about white rice flour. That's common in any of the mixes. But what is not common is this moshiko sweet rice flour. It is sweeter. I can't tell you the science of why it helps, but this recipe comes together very well crumbed, if you will, and it's because of that particular sweet rice flour. Potato starch is also another gluten-free baking recipe ingredient that's common, and as well as xanthan gum. The others are very traditional. You're going to likely find that in any baker's cupboard. The next step after mixing the dry ingredients is to mix your wet ingredients. You can see in the instructions that there's sort of layering until you get this very lovely, nice, fluffy sort of dough that's more liquid. You can almost pour it out of the bowl and into the pan. This pan, it specifically asks for a 9-inch springform pan. Again, gluten-free, has a little bit of struggle to stay together. And so it's easier if you don't have to pry it out of a pan, you just take the outside of the springform off. And that works well. But just before you finish in your mixing bowl, you're adding 1.5 cups of currants and a tablespoon of caraway seed. So 1 hour later comes our finished product.
So for a limited time only, Katie's Irish Bread is going to be available for sale for 1 week, 25 loaves. Don't miss out. Place your order. Local fans will try to deliver, or you can pick up at the center. And while you're online ordering your soda bread, don't forget to order one of our Premier Edition 2022 calendars. Thank you.
Hello, this is Governor Janet Mills. My little leprechaun friend and I send greetings to the Maine Irish Heritage Center. I'd love to see you in person again, and maybe one day we will. I've always enjoyed the annual dinners and fundraisers, and my special greetings to my good friend Mary McElhaney and all the organizers, Vinnie O'Malley, and the crew. I miss you guys. You know, centuries ago, Irish immigrants fleeing famine and fear in their home country sought a better future for themselves and their families right here in Maine. When they reached this new home, they were met, as immigrants are sometimes, with doubt and discrimination, poverty and persecution. We greeted them as laborers, powering our mills, waterfronts, quarries, and railroads with their backbreaking labor, even as the established upper class treated them as outcasts. But with the same resilience that lies at the very heart of Maine, they kept fighting for dignity and for a state that didn't simply tolerate them, but that truly believed in them, valued them, accepted them. Irish Americans became distinguished leaders in commerce, government, and community service professions, not only in Maine, but on the national and world stage. Distinguished Americans like our own Senator George Mitchell, who gave up a lifetime sinecure as a federal judge to take the appointment to the U.S. Senate when Edmund Muskie became Secretary of State, taking the enormous risk of not being elected 18 months later, but succeeding wholeheartedly. Senator Mitchell, of course, served as an attorney and as U.S. attorney and federal judge. And in the U.S. Senate, he rose to become the Senate Majority Leader. From 1989 to 1995, he was one of the most powerful people in the United States government, one of the most powerful people in the world, our own George Mitchell. And you know, at one point, President Clinton offered Senator Mitchell the U.S. Supreme Court, a seat on the U.S. Supreme Court, a lifetime sinecure, one of 9 in the entire country. What an honor. But he turned it down, saying that he couldn't forfeit his help. He was leading the charge on the president's health care reform bill and didn't want to see it fail. Man, that's a man of principle. In 1994, at the peak of his career, Senator Mitchell announced he was not going to run for re-election. But he went on to found the Bipartisan Policy Center and to negotiate the famous Northern Ireland Peace Accords, the Good Friday Agreement, which brought hundreds of years of conflict to an end at last. As he described it, those negotiations were 700 days of failure, but 1 day of success. In accepting the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Senator Mitchell said, quote, "I believe there's no such thing as a conflict that can't be ended. They're created and sustained by human beings. They can be ended by human beings, no matter how ancient, no matter how hateful, no matter how heartful, peace can prevail," end quote. Of course, he also created the Mitchell Scholar Program, which has enabled thousands of Maine youngsters to attend college. Well, he's one of many Irish Americans who've been successful and achieved a reputation on the national stage. Distinguished leaders also include my dear friend, David Flanagan, whom you're honoring this year as well. David Flanagan was a proven problem solver, an honest troubleshooter, and a corporate and community activist, an investigator of ice storms and institutions of higher learning, an expert on Washington County's economy, on cybersecurity clusters, public reserved lands, utility deregulation, spruce budworm epidemics, public housing, early childhood education, and ships in bottles. In our more than 50 years of friendship, I always saw in him, in David Flanagan, the same spirit of adventure, inquiry, and honesty as when I first met him by chance in the sleepy town of Alicante, Spain, in 1969. After which our paths crossed intermittently for many years during law school, in the governor's office, and private practice, and politics, large and small. Our common bond always, our age, our experiences, politics, and our love of Maine. We worked together in the Attorney General's office for a time, a place that had a fondness for names that ended in AN, which we often called behind the boss's back, the Irish law firm of Brennan, Brannigan, and Flanagan. A person whose 74 years on this earth was devoted almost entirely to the betterment of this state. Those deep brown eyes and warm Irish smile, reflecting the sparkle and salt of the sea, the soil of the state of Maine, the map of the world on his heart. I will always remember that spirit of adventure, honesty, inquiry I saw in the face of a young man in northern Spain a very long time ago. None of that ever really changed. Thank you for honoring David's memory. He is sorely missed. But tonight is about recognizing his legacy and the lives of other Irish Mainers who have left their indelible mark on our state as well. And today, about 1 out of 6 people in Maine claims Irish ancestry. Everywhere in our state, including up in the county, where potato farmers like my grandparents lived their entire lives, Irish cuisine, culture, and traditions are found. The economies of Ireland and Maine are also deeply connected through international trade and world-renowned companies who maintain deep ties to Ireland, with their staff and offices here and abroad. Our students learn together in study abroad and exchange programs hosted by our colleges and universities, broadening their horizons and building bonds that our countries will share for generations. My administration, through the Maine International Trade Center, has organized trade missions to Ireland to explore new opportunities for collaboration between our countries. And the Maine Irish Heritage Center and Irish American Club celebrate the many contributions of Irish Americans to our great state every day. While our state has changed in countless ways throughout our history, what remains unchanged is the character of our people, the resilience that is at the heart of the state of Maine. To all Maine people, whether you were born in Maine or recently arrived here, this state is as much your home as it is mine or anyone else's. Your contributions to our state, in whatever form they may take, make Maine and our nation a better place. So thank you, Maine Irish Heritage Center, for organizing events like this one to recognize the rich culture and contribution of Irish immigrants to the state of Maine. I wish you a safe and successful event, and I look forward to seeing you once again in person.
Sean McHenry is einem dom. Is a show on Tauron, the Irish on the Enderskagen. Once upon a time there was Irish ways and Irish laws, patches full of Irish blood, waken to the morning, waken to the morning. First we came and laid the rails, then we dug and built canals. Cholera came and laid us low, but still we stayed and struggled. Still we stayed and struggled. The women worked the factories, the men they ran the bleachery. Irish crews repaired the roads, kept the place a-running, kept the place a-running. Jacob Roke, he made the shoes, to run the banks they then did choose. McGillicuddy was Theodore, 3 times mayor and U.S. Congress. 3 times mayor and U.S. Congress. St. Joseph's and St. Patrick's, churches, schools, and all the rest. Most were Roman Catholic, to Mass on Sunday morning, to Mass on Sunday morning. There were people in the town who didn't like us anyhow.
They burned us up and burned us down, tried to make us leave here, tried to make us leave here. But we stayed and made to strive. Eventually we then did thrive. Doctors, lawyers, businessmen, judges, soldiers, police, and firemen. Judges, soldiers, police, and firemen. Kerrigan went to Boston town, played the Red Sox 2 fingers down, led the Sox from behind the plate. 2 world championships they did take. 2 world championships they did take. Tom McMahon went off to Vietnam. As medic he helped those who bled, killed in combat saving men. A Medal of Honor for what he did. A Medal of Honor for what he did. Once upon a time there was Irish ways and Irish laws, patches full of Irish blood, waking to the morning, waking to the morning. The Irish have not left LA. We are in fact here to stay. Our homes and deeds they keep a-growing. We're a river flowing. We're a river flowing. The Irish have not left LA. In fact, we are here to stay. Our deeds and homes keep a-growing. We're a river flowing. We're a river flowing.
That there's an answer, there's a way. We the people have to say. So send the orders to prepare, that we the people do declare. Send the good news, send the word, we the people will be heard. We the people everywhere. There's a message in the air that makes a movement across the land. If you listen, you can hear it well, my friend. We know the time has come to take our heads out of the sand, 'cause if we don't, the chance might never come again. The future isn't a reason, not in building ways of war, and the time has come for reason to be heard. The purpose of the people's what this declaration's for, and it's why our fathers told us word for word. We the people hand in hand, we the people understand that there's an answer, there's a way. We the people have to say. So send the orders to prepare, that we the people accept excuses, and we won't accept the lies of those who lead our nations into hell. It's time to call their bluff, to say to them enough's enough. It's time we all could hear the tolling of the bell. It's time to feed the hungry, and it's time to heal the pain, and it's time to beat our weapons into plows. It's time to hear the voices that have risen once again. It's the wisdom of the people, clear and loud, sing and cry. We the people hand in hand. Oh, we the people understand that there's an answer, there's a way. We the people have to say. So send the orders to prepare, that we the people to declare. Send the good news, send the word, we the people will be heard. We the people everywhere. We the people hand in hand. We the people understand that there's an answer, there's a way. We the people have to say. So send the orders to